Okay, today is July the 18th, 2017, and right now at about 8:45 p.m. we've got a temperature of 75 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The barometric pressure is 29.94. The relative humidity is 51%, and the dew point is 56 degrees. And so we had warm, humid weather today. And right now we're looking at three storms. This is Fernanda, which is now a Category 2 storm with 100-mile-per-hour winds. This storm is being beaten down with microwave. We can see a blast pattern, an icicle pattern up here on the northwest side. This storm is actually moving to the northwest. Over here we have, I believe this is Tropical Depression 8E, I think it is, or let's double check that. 8E, right there. And then we have Greg, Tropical Storm Greg, which is now producing 50-mile-per-hour winds, and it's moving west at 10 miles per hour. All right, so this storm right here, 8E, is the one that we're going to talk about here right now, because this has a note the proximity of these three storms. They're fairly close together. We also have a developing vortex right up here, a low pressure area right here spinning counterclockwise. But notice this right angle, this perfect right angle on that system there. Let's go ahead and put the grid on, and we can see that that is we have two very straight edges right here, and which is cutting right into the center of that storm. So if we go ahead and stop the loop, we can start. There's the first frame of that loop. We can just see how put the envelope on here. We can see how straight, how square this right angle is. All right. Well, let's just click through the sequence, and we can see what's happening here. Look at that line. This is a transmitter, probably satellite-based microwave transmitter, and it's a highly directional type of a transmitter, because we're cutting into this thing, and there's only a few type of transmitters that can do something like that. A phased array type transmitter, which is a transmitter that can focus and beam energy in different patterns. So we see what happens over this 7.5 hour loop. And we're back to the beginning, and we can see that this cutout is completely cut into the development of this storm, 8E. Let's let it run. Now, if we take a look over here at the floaters maps, this is another look at that same system, 8E. Let's go to the end, and we'll just scroll through it very quickly here. There's that cutout right here, and once again we see that very square feature. Now, this is not Mother Nature. This is not CO2 emissions in the atmosphere or smokestack emissions causing this. This is a satellite transmitter, and what they're doing here is they are breaking this system down, because these are very close. We got Fernanda right over here, and then we have 8E over here, and then we have Greg, and these are all pretty close together when you put the longitude and latitudes on there. These are big storms, and they're fairly well, they are close together is what I'm trying to say. And so what they're doing is they're trying to destroy this storm. Obviously, they're trying to weaken that. That is a very good evidence of what we're talking about here. This is man-made weather manipulation. All right. CO2 has nothing to do with this weather manipulation that we're looking at here on these maps. There's the visible light map. We can see the partial right angle in this view, but we see a lot of photoshopping. They're trying to hide the transmitter work there. We can see a blast pattern shooting out right. There's a blast wave right towards, right there. There's something shooting out. Hard to see. All right, let's go back to the other map here. So we've got these three storms. This is being weakened. We've got the right angle on 8E, and then we have Greg over here, which is obviously being blown apart. We can see a lot of evidence of that all around the periphery of that storm. There's a lot of evidence of a superheating process. Also, we have this counterclockwise spinning vortex, which seems to also, there's also a right angle right in this area right there. Let's go ahead and stop that. And we can put the envelope right on that contour. You can see that that fits very nicely into that contour. And so they're putting heat on this upper level low pressure system right over here. The center of that is right there. Let's let it run. You can see that there's a straight edge being maintained right here all throughout that 7.5 hour, well, pretty much through about at least half of this loop. And that is preventing this moisture from Greg from getting into this fourth low pressure system right up here. If we go back to the water vapor map, we can see obviously there is counterclockwise rotation around this vortex, which is right there. So we've got three big storms and another thing developing right there. And look at all the thunderstorms over Mexico. Let's take a quick look at the Doppler map, and we can see that despite all that thunderstorm activity, there isn't a whole lot of rain showing up in Mexico. So that means these guys down here are getting chemtrailed just like we were up here in California. We had some of the heaviest chemtrail spraying today. We haven't seen spraying this heavy in a long time, probably a month or more. And Arizona is getting a lot of rain. We can see that right there. If we go back to the map right here, we can see what's going on. There's a lot of thunderstorm development, but there's also a lot of chemtrail development, or rather chemtrail spraying over this region, including California. And so that's preventing a lot of the rain, the precipitation, and of course these are being blown apart. These giant supercells are being targeted. You can see the big hole right there. Opens up right near Las Vegas. And yet there's not much rain up near Las Vegas. If you go back to the map once again, look at it right here. There's not a whole lot of rain right there where that huge hole was opening up. And today we saw the clouds, the moisture moving in from the east this morning. And I didn't do a video yesterday, but as soon as I walked outside this morning, I saw to the south. I looked to the south east, and it was obvious. I first looked at the satellite map, and then I went outside, and I could see what was headed our way. Okay, so now here's the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. We've got a low pressure system right here trying to develop this northwest of Hawaii. We can see a huge blast pattern on that. This is trying to spin counterclockwise. We've got low pressure right here and right over here. And there's something right there trying to develop as well. So these people have their tail in a crack. They've messed with Mother Nature. And this spring, I use the analogy of a spring. These people, these terrorist weather controllers that are behind this manipulation, are playing a deadly game, because Mother Nature will win out. There's no doubt about that. This is like pressing down on a spring, and you can't let up on the spring because it'll go flying if you do. And that's exactly what I think we're seeing here on a global scale. These storms are getting bigger, and there's more of them. There's more low pressure systems, and maybe they're creating these. I haven't yet figured out, because I haven't looked at the polar weather patterns much. I'm mainly focused on what's happening here in the eastern Pacific. But that'll be the next thing we're going to take a look at, is some of these other global patterns in the northern hemisphere, particularly over the North Pole and over Russia. Here is the rainbow map. We can see the right angle here in this tropical depression 8E. See it better right here. That is a perfect right angle. Now, there's people that have made comments on the channel about, well, you know, it can't be a perfect right angle because the Earth is spherical shaped and the surface is curved, and that's fine. That's a decent argument. But the fact is, we still have two straight edges that come together, and whether or not that's a right angle is actually irrelevant. The fact is that we've got two straight edges that converge to one point. And we can argue all day if that's a right angle, or if it's 87 degrees, or if it's 60 degrees, or if it's 105 degrees. The fact is that we have two very straight edges. There's no arguing that. So that is a sort of a lame argument in order to try to invalidate what we're showing right here. These big right angles, these are several hundred miles long on each side. You just compare it to the state of coastline of California, which is about 800 or 900 miles long. Each one of these is probably 150 miles on a side. All right, now here's the western U.S. water vapor loop. We can see a low pressure system that was trying to spin. They've got a transmitter right dead center on that. That's that dark area. This is moving right through the area, and this area moving right through where we are now is bringing all the moisture, which is being sprayed over with chemtrails. So we had very hot, sultry, hot, muggy weather, ugly. You could cut the air with a knife. You know, it'll give you a headache if you're outside for any period of time. I'm amazed that the EPA is allowing these planes to spray while we have to get all of our cars smogged every 2 years. So that's a racket. Now, there's a lot of corruption going on, and we're just trying to point that all out here. All right, so we'll just leave this right here, and we'll do another update soon. That's it.